In Project 4, we're going to take a look at the if function. They call it the if logical function. But you can view the if function as a conditional function. If a certain condition is met, then something will happen. If it doesn't, if the condition is not met, then another result will apply. And it talks about at the bottom of page 54, a question that can be answered with true or false is considered a logical test. And so the if function makes this logical test, and it performs a particular action if the answer is true and another action if it is false. So we're going to take a look at some examples in Project 4A of the if function. If you want to read through the paragraphs at the bottom of page 54 and top of page 55, they further describe to you what we're going to be doing as well. I've already opened the CMP reports file and have saved it as they've requested there in Project 4A. And we're going to take a look at the bonus for these salespeople. If you notice, each one of the salespersons have a quota in column B. Column C shows what their actual sales were. And if the salespersons met their quota and actually exceeded their quota, they're going to receive a 15% bonus. And that 15% bonus is of their actual sales. If they didn't meet their quota, then they are not going to get any bonus, and therefore a 0 will appear in their bonus cell. So the if function is going to help us determine that. Again, you could probably go through and look at this visually to see if the quotas were met for each of the salespersons, but then the computer is going to take it a step further, and if they've met that quota and exceeded it, then it's going to take 15%, multiply it by the actual cells, and place that result in the cells in column D. To start the if function, it is a logical function. Again, we can go to fx, or logical. The if function is located under the logical button or the logical category. The test is, again, if the actual sales are greater than the quota, okay, then if that's true, value of true, then we're going to take the actual sales times 15%. And you can also type in 15 and the percent symbol on that. If it's false, if they don't meet their quota, then they don't get anything. It's a 0. Okay, so again, the test is if actual sales are greater than the quota, then they'll get 15% of their actual sales as bonus. Otherwise, it's a 0. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and click OK. You'll notice the first salesperson obviously met the quota and exceeded the quota by quite a bit, and we've multiplied that actual sales amount by 15%, and that's what you're seeing in cell D5. Every one of these salespersons will have the same formula. I'm just going to copy that down. You'll notice the two cells that have dashes in them represent that they do not receive a bonus. Their bonus is actually 0, and the reason for the dash is that we have it formatted in a certain way so that 0 does not appear. If, for example, you wanted to change the percent of quota or the percent of bonus, you could go into the original formula. They asked that we change it to 25%. Once you make the change there, then you can go ahead and autofill down. It'll change the amounts that were applied to the salespersons originally, and now their bonus goes up, obviously. They want us to apply the accounting number format to cell D5 so that it all kind of keeps consistent here. The accounting number format, again, is on the Home tab, Number Group, and it has the number in there. Let's apply that. It's added the $sign in there with the 2 decimals, so we'll just keep that consistent, and the rest of the remaining numbers are consistent with the other numbers in the quota and the actual sales column. Now we're going to go ahead and save this again. Located a little bit further down in the worksheet, you're going to find New Employee Orientation section, and within that we're going to determine what the average is for each of these quizzes. We'll determine the average using the average function as we've used before, and then the grade itself is going to be either a pass-fail, and what they're going to have us do here is see how we can put in text rather than values as the result. So if their average is, let's say, greater than 79% or whatever the amount it is, then we can either say pass or fail. Okay, so if it's true, if their average is greater than 79%, then we'll put in the text pass, and if not, then we'll put in the text fail. Okay, so for the formula for average, we know how to do that. Again, on the Home tab, I'm going to go to the Editing group, click on the Sum button, and choose Average. It picks up on the cells to the left of it, which is correct. I'm just going to press Enter, and we'll fill these down. Notice on this too, they're using raw numbers. They don't have percentages or anything like that, so that needs to all stay consistent when we place it in other formulas. Now in cell F16, again, we're going to determine whether these average numbers are passing or failing, and they're going to use the threshold of 79. So anything above 79, which would be 80 or greater, they'll pass, and if not, they'll fail. So again, we're going to use the logical function if. So I'm going to go back to the Formulas tab, Function Library, Logical Function, that's in the logical category, choose if. The test again is if the average is greater than 79. If that's true, then they're going to pass. And I'm just going to type in pass here for just a minute. I haven't added the quotes yet, but notice when I go to the next line, it automatically puts quotes around it. You could have either manually put that in there or allow the function wizard to do that for you. If you were typing this function in directly into the cell, you would need to add your quotes. And if it's false, they fail. Okay, if I click outside of that text box, it automatically puts the fail in there. Okay, so if E16, if their average is greater than 79, they pass. If not, if it's false, they fail. Click OK out of that. The first person, 78. They didn't get there, so they fail on the grade. And then obviously we're going to autofill this down. You can see the averages that are above 79 receive the pass text, and the one that didn't is fail. Okay. Now let's drop down a little bit to the sales department area. In this one, we're going to insert 5% in the cell if the previous cell contains the text yes, and we're going to insert 0% if the previous cell does not contain the text yes. So first of all, we've got to put in yes or no in the discount column. We've got to determine whether or not they receive a discount, and then we'll determine what their percent of discount is. Okay, so in C26, they're going to get a discount if their amount, B26, is greater than 599. So again, it's another logical test. We're either going to put yes or no in there. Okay, so text is going to appear. So again, we'll go back to logical if. The test is if the price, which in this case is B26, is greater than 599. Then if that's true, they get a discount. If it's false, they don't. Okay, and again, we'll autofill those down. So any amount that's greater than $5.99, it should say yes in, they receive a discount. And then we want to determine what their discount percent is. So again, we're going to use another logical test. If their discount is yes, so if C6 equals yes, and again it's text, so we've got to put quotes around it. If it's yes, then they receive 5%. And if they don't receive a discount, obviously it's 0%. Okay, so you can see no matter where you place the text in any of these text boxes, it has to have quotes around it. I'm going to go ahead and click OK. If you'll notice here, it has 0.05, and we'll format this in just a minute, but we'll go ahead and autofill it down. So everywhere there is a yes, there should be 5%, which we need to format that, and then if they don't receive a discount, it'll be 0%. So let's go ahead and change those. Let's format those to percentages. Going back to the Home tab, in the number group, and then percent. And now we should see the 5% and the 0%. And then I'll go ahead and save this again. And they asked to, project 4B to show your formulas again. This is just a review. Control left apostrophe, or the grave accent is what they call it. You can see now where your if function's been located throughout the worksheet. So it's a great tool of being able to see how you came about the values that are in these cells. Again, I'm going to press Control left apostrophe to get it back to the original.